Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Advanced RC Adventures. A2RC here. This is a channel where we investigate, explore, build, explain, upgrade, and advance Nitro RCs to another level. Come start a new adventure with me. You've already seen the videos about the Kyosho GX12 CR engine. We've also went through these exhaust systems. If you haven't checked out those videos yet, feel free to go back into the playlist or through the channel and take a look. Today though, we're going to take out the engine, the exhaust, we're going to set that to the side. Now we have a nice little cavity in the car on the chassis, and we're going to go over on the engine rebuild stand, and we're going to take a look at the transmission. Going to take a look at the spur and brake assembly, and the full rear-wheel drive transmission and drive assembly. So come on with me, let's go over to the rebuild stand. Now that we're over here on the rebuild stand, let's go ahead and take a little look. We're going to take this apart. You can see here the suspension springs, independent suspension. These use a 42 tooth Mod 1 spur. Let's take a look at this brake assembly. You'll see it better too when we take it apart. So this particular lever goes to the servo, and when the servo is actuated, it pulls down on that, maybe we'll call it like the bell of the spur gear. See it move? So the brake itself, it does not have an additional like brake disc, which would be pretty common for today's cars. This is almost kind of like a drum kind of shoe. Let's go ahead and take this apart and give you a look-see. There's a little bit of friction material on the plastic arm that touches the plastic spur. Pop these wheels off. Uses a standard wheel nut for a 10th scale. Plastic hexes. Normal style kind of drive pin that is still very normal, very common on today's 10 scale cars. Put those wheels to the side there. Let's pop off this little C-clip. And the spur itself come off the transmission shaft. All plastic, 100% plastic on this. You can see the wear marks. See the black on the outer drum portion of the spur. That's where that friction material on this lever arm goes. So you can see how this mechanism works. It's actuated. The servo pulls on it, and this bit of friction material pushes on that drum. Take that little pin out. There are M3 through bolts, as I mentioned, on these Mantis style body post. loosen these up a little more. Just kind of a through bolt situation that pinches or sandwiches everything together. That out of the Mantis. Body post comes off. This is where we can start to see we've got those brass bushings inside. In the upgraded version car, those are completely removed and ball bearings are replaced. Those PTFE Teflon race bearings and some polyamide shielded Teflon bearings as well. We're going to talk about bearings here in the future. We get to geek out together and discuss the pros and cons to all the different ball types, material types, and their coatings. Information about the grades and the ratings of them. So this uses another M3 through bolt style to hold that brake mechanism together. Set that to the side here. Our wishbone suspension, dog bones inside of there. Let's keep working on this, taking it apart. Couple screws holding it together. For these particular transmissions, we have to take off these out drives as well. They have a set screw. Pop those set screws out. Those drive cups come off. You can start to see that transmission housing start to spread apart. Look at that Kyosho blue. Let's take it all the way apart. So they have some light grease inside of here, which helps to lubricate the gears as well as those bushings. These bushings pop out. For example here. Let's take a look at that gear train. So here's the input shaft, goes to an idler, which changes the gear ratio, and then goes to the diff. And this is an open diff as well. Take out the input shaft, that idler, and then we can take a look here at the diff. So on these, it does have a bushing, and then there's a steel sleeve that's kind of pressed onto the plastic. So that bushing's not riding on plastic, it's actually riding on that metal insert or metal sleeve. These have some small Phillips. Let's go ahead and open up this diff and you can see the beveled spider gears inside. It's a two-piece. Now, to me, these look extremely similar to the bevel style diff gears in the HPI RS4. These bevel style gears are very durable. They take just a light bit of grease. These are not intended for a liquid diff lube. They just take a little bit of lightweight grease. Got the other bevel gear down inside of there. Shaft. Now off screen, when we put it back together, all of this is going to be cleaned. It's going to be re-lubed. There's two different types of grease that I really like to use for these, especially for the plastic housings and for these bevel gears. One is a lightweight grease, is another, and another one is a marine grease, which I use pretty extensively with the HPI plastic to metal bevel gears. Been using that for 15-20 years now with zero issues, and take apart the diffs every couple of years after running, and there's generally very little wear, and when you do, hopefully you have a set of gears and put them back in. But probably in the past 20-something years I've only had to replace one or two, and I have multiple RS4s. So it's been a good type of setup and grease that helps with the longevity of the gears. There's the inside of there. So I talked about here, that larger gear, the inside, that ID, the inside brace of that bushing rides on this metal, black metal, I believe it's steel insert or sleeve. The bushings are going to stay in this particular stock car. But if you wanted to replace them, best thing to do, pop them out, measure them. Get your replacement bearing, put it back inside. These are standard sizes, so you should be able to find, just like I did and I have in my bearing stock, replacement ball bearings. So as we have everything laid onto the bench here, I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown looking at the brake assembly and the transmission. And I appreciate everybody being here. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you enjoy Nitro, especially 10 scale touring cars, this is the place to be. And thanks for taking the adventure with me.